Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. We've got a roadmap update and correction for you for sort of features that are being focused on what appears to be Star Citizen Alpha 3.19. Alpha 3.17.2 appears to be getting some more fixes, and we've got a dev response on some turret updates. So, for the roadmap roundup, we saw a few features being added to the progress tracker, so that's not necessarily geared towards any particular patch. It's not the release view, it's not saying this is definitely going to be in this patch or most likely going to be in this patch, but it certainly looks like these features are geared towards Alpha 3.19. So we've got a feature that we thought was for 3.18 to start with. Arena Commander Classic Race Mode updates. A complete overhaul of all systems and maps in Arena Commander's Classic Race Mode. Improvements include a complete refactor of the checkpoint entity and race manager system, improvements to scoring, a complete rework of all 3 New Horizons Speedway maps, as well as a new map, the Snake Pit, which we know is actually in the Persistent Universe at the moment. And this feature also had a clarification with Cloud Imperium saying, "We realised an error on the current release view was made due to our team pulling a set of data for the roadmap that was slightly out of date for the Arena Commander feature team. The card for Arena Commander Classic Race Mode overhaul was always intended to release with Alpha 3.19, not 3.18, and is currently on track to do so. Therefore, this card has been removed from the release view temporarily until all goals for 3.19 are finalised, but will still remain on the progress tracker. Apologies for the miscommunication." So that's good to know. We've got a feature effectively that's planned to be with 3.19. Now, we've got some other things, which I also think are part of 3.19's potential release. The Vault verified off-world laser technologies pulse energy pistol. So we've seen this teased in the recent Star Citizen newsletter. It's part of the Vault series of Electron weapons that Cloud Imperium have been showing off in little teasers and are adding to the game. We also know that Cloud Imperium are working on the Volt Parallax Assault Rifle, as well as the Fresnel and Quartz SMGs from Volt. And it's possible that we could see them in game by the end of the year, maybe. And again, potentially for 3.19, whether 3.19 is a patch that actually comes to the game at the end of the year or early 2023 is another matter entirely. AI vehicle perception. This feature will give AI the ability to perceive and detect vehicles from the ground, as well as select ground-based targets when piloting their own, using both vision and radar. So AI will be able to shoot at vehicles. Great. That's really useful, that's really sensible, but I do also believe this is actually steps towards AI being able to use vehicles, sort of. At least they want to get this sort of done before then moving on to that, and just actually general, deeper ground gameplay. We want reasons to use ground vehicles, but the game needs to be set up for those reasons, and obviously AI being able to fire at those vehicles is important too. Current work for this is planned to wrap up at the end of September, so could well be a feature for 3.19. There was also a question on this. Does this mean that bunker turrets will shoot at ground vehicles? That would be bad, considering that's one of the very few current reasons to use ground vehicles. With Jake Acapella from Cloud Imperium responding, this is more in reference to AI piloting their own vehicles and being able to track AI and player ground targets, and vice versa. This work isn't related to stationary turrets. I'm really looking forward to AI being able to use ground vehicles themselves. I think that will make the game a lot more fun. There's going to be lots of sort of ground targets to take out, and they don't need to rely on turrets so much, and makes the sort of dynamics of attacking a base or a bunker or outpost or whatever a lot more interesting and have a lot more variance. Aerodynamic control services. This has actually been wanted by a lot of people for a long time. Ships with control services will be able to use them in atmospheres to aid their maneuverability. This will allow for improved performance from ships that have weak maneuvering thrusters in atmosphere, and will bring new depth to aerodynamic flight in game. So, ships shaped like more traditional planes and jets will also have advantages in atmospheres and fly differently. It's an important part of Star Citizen that some ships are going to be outclassed in combat in atmosphere compared to another environment or space. So it's not going to be all atmospheres as well. Obviously, some atmospheres might be really bad for certain shaped sort of ships to fly. Hopefully this will mean that ships have got like little fans and other doodads on them, that they'll be able to use them, or they'll be taken into account in atmosphere as well. Work on that, though, is currently going on until mid-February 2023, so maybe a bit further out. Could be a 4.0 feature. Also, Cloud Imperium have said there have been some dev team changes. The EU landing zone team has now been split into 2 teams, EU landing zone 1 and 2. as both now have added resources coming from the props team. We will have a full schedule for what both those teams are doing once they've been finalised by production. We are still getting more test patches on the PTU as well. So Alpha 3.17.2 is still getting a load of love, and they're planning to give it a load of updates within the next week or so. Potentially this week, potentially next week, for this sort of integration into the live build. We've had a 3.17.2y patch on the PTU that fixes a few additional bits. They fixed an issue causing player medical beacons to not complete the mission on payment when a player is brought back from incapacitation. That's great. That means reasons to actually go and heal and help players. They fixed further issues causing elevator carriages to lose collision, causing players to fall through them. Ninetales lockdown wreckage should no longer spawn inside of armistice zones, preventing players from engaging with hostile forces inside or around the wreck. They fixed an issue where friendly scanning ships and hostile Ninetales would never spawn when completing scanning objectives through the Ninetales lockdown event, so that just wouldn't work properly at all. They fixed 1 client and 2 server crashes, as well as a back-end service wallet issue. Cloud Imperium are running tests for the Ninetales lockdown still, and the Siege, with another playtest of the Siege of Orison running at around 7 PM UTC on Thursday the 18th of August for around 6 hours, for those of you that want to join in on that on the PTU. I am expecting Cloud Imperium to try and knock out a couple more fixes before going live with this build. If it all goes well, you can expect it to be going live probably this weekend, and if not, it will be next weekend. So it would depend on, do Cloud Imperium get the sort of fixes that they want in, and there are still some sort of egregious problems with the patch and potentially some elevator stuff. Like, though they've made some elevator fixes, they don't hold all the time, and accessibility, general stability is the sort of focus of Cloud Imperium at the moment. And you can also expect the Siege of Orison to run again once the servers are live at some point after this patch goes up. There was a thread asking about the Anvil Super Hornet and why it doesn't have a separate power capacitor for its ball turret. Cloud Imperium Games' YogiClat responded, "So far, we've only added separate turret capacitors for heavy fighters and up. This was done to make the turrets a bit more independent from the pilots. We're currently iterating on that though, also checking if the power triangle assignments would affect turrets in general. So we might change a couple of things, but I am not sure yet. But nothing that you'll see in 3.18. So obviously the balance is a continuing thing. Doesn't look to be much in the way of ship and combat balance for 3.18 planned, at least from what Cloud Imperium have been suggesting. So bear that in mind. It's probably something they'll look at for 3.19/4.0. Balance as well for them is they just want to make sure that nothing's super overpowered and broken, and they do have quite a lot of homogenization between components and weapons and stuff at the moment. That is something that they will be creating variety and customization in a lot more in the future once they've got to a better stage of development where they don't have to, keep on balancing and spending extra time sort of making sure these weapons and gear are all balanced from patch to patch, because that just delays development progress. Boom, that's it for your update today. I'm interested to know what you think. No racing overhaul for Alpha 3.18? Do you think that's actually a technical delay for that feature getting pushed back? Although Cloud Imperium do say it was always planned for 3.19. What do you think about those other features that we talked about for potential 3.19 features? When do you think 3.19 will turn up? Because me and Zin still think that we're not going to see 3.18 live until the end of the year at the earliest now. What do you think though? When could it go into the Eva Carty phase, even 3.18? Are you looking forward to those improvements potentially coming to Alpha 3.17.2 soon? What's your experiences of the current PTU or current live builds? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. You're on a plane, it's about to crash. Maybe you're in a jungle and a vicious predator attacks. There's a nuclear war and you're caught short on the toilet. You're drowning in shark-infested waters. How did you get here? What do all these scenarios have in common? That's right, easily preventable with the use of nordvpn.com/BoredGamer. It's like the ultimate survival toolkit, but to aid in internet security and accessibility. Now I can watch my favourite Netflix and anime shows from a different country while I'm lost in the rainforest just before a tiger eats me. Thanks, nordvpn.com/BoredGamer.
you can get discounts by using the links below. But please note that probably in the case of a plane crash or, you're drowning, NordVPN might not be the most effective solution. Every month we have a Star Citizen ship giveaway. This month we're giving away an RSI Scorpius heavy fighter. This 2-seater powerful heavy fighter allows you to pretend you're in Star Wars with your X-Wing. It comes with a lifetime insurance and access to Star Citizen, so even if you haven't got a Star Citizen account already, you can play the game. To be in for a chance of winning that, just comment on any of my videos made during August. A massive thank you to everyone that subscribed to the channel or just watches my content or comments and likes and shares those videos. It really genuinely does help. And if you want to go the extra mile to help support the channel, you can click on the join button under any of my videos or click on the links to Patreon. It all goes a huge way to help the channel grow and expand. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great time in Alpha 3.17.2 and I hope to see you in the verse.